Is the Israel lobby in America, APAC, losing influence in the country's cultural and economic capital, NYC, New York City? Let's go through the geopolitical analysis. Don't know why I said geopolitical like that. Zoran Mamdani was a plucky challenger running for the position of New York mayor. Until just 1 month ago, he was predicted to make a dent in terms of votes received, but not beat the established household name Andrew Cuomo. But by the time the elections came around, forecasting showed that as voting goes on, Mamdani might just narrowly pull a victory out of the bag. As of the day of elections, shockingly, he won before the multiple rounds of voting were even over. Can't talk. It's extremely likely now that Zoran Mamdani will become New York's next mayor. And the news has just sent shockwaves, ripples, through one of Washington's most powerful lobbying organizations, AIPAC, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, which I mistakenly called the Political Action Committee in the previous video and in my live at 6 p.m. UK time today. But, similar meaning anyway. AIPAC has just watched their worst nightmare become a reality, fresh after Trump refused to back Israel's war against Iran beyond a single bombing run. Here's why they're panicking right now, AIPAC. AIPAC spent over $100 million US in America in the 2024 election cycle alone, just in 2024, making them one of the largest political spenders in America. They've built their power by cultivating relationships with politicians early in their careers, helping them move up, smoothing the way, giving them tips and tricks, taking them on luxury trips to Israel, and ensuring unwavering support for Israeli policies. Mamdani represents everything they've worked to prevent reaching a position of power. He's a Muslim, vocal supporter of Palestinian rights. He's called Israel's actions in Gaza a genocide and says he would rather stay in New York and fix the city's problem than head to Israel. When he was asked where he would make his first foreign foreign trip as New York's mayor if he won. That might sound mad to you. Why are New York City mayoral candidates being asked where they would go on their first foreign visit? But American politics has its quirks, and funnily enough, most of them said I would visit Israel for one reason or another. Like politics anywhere, American politics has its, nuances, you could say. Mamdani has actual legislative experience targeting AIPAC operations. He introduced the, quote, "not on our dime" act, like not in my name, not on my money. The act would strip tax-exempt status from non-profits supporting Israeli settlements, making it harder for non-profits that support Israeli settlements from operating, right? He said if Netanyahu visited New York, another example of, the kind of policy positions he holds and inclinations. He said if Netanyahu, Israeli Prime Minister, visited New York, he would have him arrested. Arrest someone with an ICC warrant against their name? No, it's international law. But AIPAC, of course, are furious because shock and horror. How could you arrest the Prime Minister of Israel? Isn't Israel like some sort of invulnerable special status nation? Apparently not. Not to Zoran. AIPAC is furious because international law being obeyed by rich Western countries is a bit much for them. They think international law, perhaps, is only for poor countries. This isn't just symbolic opposition from Mamdani, by the way. It's systematic warfare against the entire AIPAC lobbying American politicians' model. As mayor of the world's financial capital, Mamdani will control a $2.2 trillion economy and have a massive platform to challenge pro-Israel narratives. He's already said Israel wouldn't let him visit the country because of his BDS support, boycott, divestment, and sanctions, meaning traditional diplomatic relationships, between New York's mayor and Israel that have, been maintained over the years. That's off the table. It would be a completely different relationship. The real threat to AIPAC is what Mamdani represents, though, not just him as an individual. He represents a new generation of American politicians who see Israel as an apartheid state rather than a democratic ally. His victory proves you can win major elections while openly opposing Israeli policies, something AIPAC has spent decades ensuring was political suicide. You never could before in American politics. It was never the case that you could be openly anti-Israel and still win a federal or local state position until Now, when the mayor of America's largest city refuses to fall in line and blindly support the pro-Israel narrative, that is the American default of the past, it signals a fundamental shift in American politics. AIPAC's model depends on bipartisan consensus. They have control. It wants control over both sides. It wants influence in both sides of the political spectrum, Democrats and Republicans. Mamdani just shattered that bipartisan AIPAC control in the nation's most important city. Time will tell how things turn out, and I'll be here to report to you the news and the analysis, unbiased and without the Western spin. Thank you for your continued support. I'm Mahfouz, and I'll see you on the next one.